welcome to Generación Latina, your host here, Carolina Peña, and tonight I have the pleasure of introducing you to a wonderful family. Now, if you think about it, every day you hear, from your mentors, your teachers, your parents, that you have to make the most out of life, that you have to try hard, you have to have goals, but it's really not always easy, and we each have our struggles. There are several things that can set us back. Sometimes it's the environment around us. Sometimes it can be very negative. But sometimes the limitations can come from within. And we don't believe that we ourselves can achieve so much that we are capable of. But the family that I want to introduce you today really brings to life the possibility that you can achieve anything. This family is unique. They're very dear to my heart already. And I just, when I met them, I had to tell their story to all of you because it really is remarkable. So with us today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Ollie Cantos and his three sons, Leo, Steve, and Nick. And I hope I get it right because they're actually triplets and they look exactly alike. So Ollie and Steve, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. And your story of how you became a family is fascinating. Tell me how that started for you.
Oh, as far as we're concerned, it's divine providence. We just can't believe it every time we talk about it. There was a time where Leo, Nick, and Stephen had a really tough beginning with their lives, with struggling and being bullied in school and so forth. And so there was actually someone at their elementary school who felt bad about their situation. And because she felt so bad, she just decided to talk with her sister about how she felt. And in talking with her sister, that sister was so moved by that story that she told her friend. The friend who she told happened to be a fellow person who had attended the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints meetings that I'm a part of, and he moved away, but he still remembered me. So when this gentleman named Oswaldo Castillo remembered me, he tracked me down and he told me about having heard about these three blind triplet boys. And he said, hey, you've been involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters, you've done a lot of other stuff in the past with mentoring, how would you like to just mentor these guys? And I told him, sure, I'd be happy to help out. So that's how it all got started originally.
Okay, and just to give some background, Ollie, you're born here in the United States, but you're from the Philippines.
Right, my
Your
family.
Heritage.
Right, exactly. My parents are both from the Philippines, from the province of Batangas.
Wow. Now, Stephen, you tell me how the experience was for you, and a little bit of background too, because I understand you were born in Colombia, but you came here at a very young age.
Well, our father, when we were 3 years old, left us, and we moved to Virginia from Colombia, and for the next 7 years, I've been it's been very hard for me. I'm 13 years old, so for the past 7 years it's been tough until that came.
Yeah, and you know what? Your story is, unfortunately, it's very common. We have a lot of single mothers in our community, and even my own story. I did not grow up with a father for me there every single day, and so tell me a little bit about what it was like kind of before Ollie came into your life, and how that's changed.
Oh, I've been bullied since first grade at Barcroft Elementary School. It wasn't a good experience at all. I was left out, and people thought I couldn't do anything because I was blind.
Did you believe that too?
Oh, how could I not? I have no choice to believe, but to believe that for that long time.
Mm-hmm. So what made you change your mind? How did you?
It's Dad who changed my mind. He's the one who really showed me I could do as many things as I could do now.
And I love it. You make a distinction between who you call dad and who you call father. And obviously, we all have our biological fathers. But then, you've chosen to call Ollie your dad, because he's the one that has shown to really care for you. So what sort of made that difference for you? Like when you met him, through the people that connected you guys, how did that trust relationship begin? I mean, was it automatically you kind of knew this stranger that was also blind, or how did that happen?
It happened when Leo,
Your brother.
my brother, he went to the store to go get something, and he went with Dad. Now, the person who managed the store asked if that was his father. Leo said yes. They bought Leo bought his soda or something. He went out, and Dad, he said, "Do you know what this means?" And Leo said, "You take care of us, you show us how to do things, you went to our graduation, yeah, you're our dad." And they embraced.
Yeah.
And then they went home, and then,
the rest is history,
yeah.
right? I totally, and it's beautiful because I see it. I mean, you guys have met each other. You've been kind of in this mentorship, father-son relationship for how long?
More than 2 years.
Just a little over 2 years. And just to see the commitment that you have had. Ollie, actually, you fascinate me. You're a lawyer.
Right.
And, that's no easy claim to have. I mean, it takes some really hard work to be a lawyer. And, you have a very successful life, you could call it, in many ways, but you've chosen to take a different path. Tell me about how was life before for you, and how that's changed now that you have the boys.
Well, I was dedicated entirely to my career. In the past, I've had different jobs, being general counsel of an organization and working at the White House and so forth. And I was also dedicated to a lot of nonprofit causes, and so that was my life. I would routinely stay at work and stay till midnight, or always be involved with different things in the community, and that was what drove me every day. And then when the boys came into my life, at first it was just a mentoring relationship, which is really already from the very beginning, it was amazing. And then shortly thereafter, it became very clear that it was a lot more close than just a mentoring relationship, which is really just such a blessing to me. And so once I made the decision that I would dedicate all of my energy toward them, I literally one day resigned from all of the nonprofit organizations, boards of directors that I was on, because all of a sudden I was a dad and a parent, and I felt that based on the honor that they gave me by calling me dad, I wanted to live up to that by being there for them, by never missing an event, by always being there for them. And literally, I go to work, then whenever I'm done with work, I focus my energy toward building their lives up. And it has been amazing. As happy as I have ever been in my life, with all of the amazing experiences I've had within my professional life, that's a fraction as a level as happy as I am now. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, now my whole life has changed, and I live for these guys.
I love it. And, the way that you talk about it so passionately, the energy that you have to pour out all this love on them. You've seen, I can't say I've seen a difference, but I see it. I mean, it's right here, right, with all three of them. So we're going to continue the conversation with the other two out of this set of triplets, and continue the conversation with Ollie. We've got some crucial topics to discuss here in terms of mentorship, community service, inspiration, life achievement, and commitment to those goals that we should have, that we have. I want us to continue to pay attention to their story. So we'll be right back. And we continue the story here with Ollie Cantos and his triplets, Steve, Leo, and Nick. And now on the set, we have Leo. So, but as we were talking, Ollie, tell me, how is the relationship with their mother? And I mean, I understand you are their mentor, and you're kind of like their father now. So, how is this all working out?
Well, it's really been great, and really, I appreciate you asking the question, Carolina, because there are a lot of families that are in a situation where there are single mothers, or people who don't have their partners with them in this country, who are immigrants, who might be in a similar situation where they just need some additional support. And Seila Gracia is the boy's mom, and the reason why the boys and I have this amazing life now is because of her being willing to have come into their lives a man who's blind and who she felt could teach them things that she didn't know how to teach them. Let's say when it comes to whether it's fixing their bed or getting their skills up or learning a positive philosophy about blindness. Seila was the one who did that, and their grandmother, Margenia Pacheco, is also someone who has been instrumental. She has put in a lot of sacrifice, and it's not uncommon with the story of immigrants who put in a lot of sacrifice, and she has done the same, where she left everything she knew in Colombia to come here and to take care of the family and to be of support to them. And even right now, she's having a tough situation where her own mother is not doing well with her health. But the sad thing is, because of the sacrifice that she is making, she may not see her mother alive ever again because of the situation, and she can't go back at the moment. So the sacrifice that Seila and Margenia Pacheco have done are just really, it's just really remarkable, and I really think that they're wonderful for their being so supportive of the boys, and for Seila Gracia to have said, hey, I'm here for the boys, and I want them to have a good life, and that's what led to what we have now.
And you know what? And I saw it. I just had the opportunity to meet them briefly, but they love you, Ollie. And what is it that you say? I mean, you know Spanish even. Like, that's not your first language.
Estoy practicando como hablar español más.
There you go. And what is it that you tell the mother that you would do for the boys?
Oh, whenever the mother gets on the phone with me, when we end the call, she says, remember, take care of the boys, and I say, con mi vida.
That's right, with your life. And I know that. I see that. You're willing to do anything for them. So, now, Leo, tell me, what is one thing that you have learned from your dad?
Well, one thing that I learned from my dad is how to make friends. And to make friends, first you need to trust your friends. Sometimes when you find people, maybe you look at them the first time, you may think, wow, they're nice, but you may not really know. And because we are blind, what we do is we feel our friend's energy. And that's how we know whether we trust them or not. And also, if you think they're good, and if you think they're good enough for your standards, then you can find things that are in common, that you have in common with them, and then you can eventually ask for their parents' number so you can make arrangements to go to their house or do something that can get you to know your friend better.
That's awesome. You've got it from like A to Z. I mean, this is how you make friends. But you know what? It's something that it takes somebody to patiently teach you to do something like that, and it takes a lot. You know, it's not easy. I mean, how do you read somebody's energy? I don't know. Do I have good energy? You tell me, right? But it's awesome because even though you are blind, you are able to see different things that other people do not see. And that ability is something that it's very difficult for others to understand, but you are able to connect on a human level, probably maybe even deeper than other people would, I mean, you've learned to really just hone on your communication skills, and it's amazing. So actually, one of the questions I had is, what exactly, why are you blind, and how did this happen?
Well, when I was a baby, I was born 3 months premature, and so my eyes weren't developed yet. So the doctors, they put me in an incubator, and there was not enough oxygen, or there was either not enough oxygen or too much oxygen, and that destroyed my eyes. And so that's why I have this disease called retinopathy of prematurity, which is a condition that stops your eyes from working because your eyes have been destroyed by oxygen.
That's right. I mean,
that's exactly right.
That's what Ollie was telling me. And so, is this something that, how do you feel about it?
I don't really feel anything. I just, I can survive. It's basically blindness. It's not a burden or a shame. It's actually blindness is more of a. It's actually what you may think of as a burden. You know, maybe you may not see. You cannot see. Your eyes don't work. You can't do anything. It's actually you can see more than an average person, because your eyes may not work, but you can see them. You can see things mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And to us, blindness is a characteristic. It's a philosophy of the National Federation of the Blind, where we believe that with proper training and basic skills and the opportunity to succeed, that blindness can just be a nuisance. Yeah, there are things that we have to deal with, but it's still just one of those things. We don't see it as some sort of horrible tragedy, like, oh, we're blind, oh darn. We feel like it's just, it's one of those things, but when we're trained well and we have the right attitude about it, it's just not a big deal.
And you go about it in the way that you carry yourself. I mean, there's a confidence about you that is probably greater than most of us who, would not necessarily consider themselves as having a disability. So I admire you both for that, and I think that, I know a lot of that, the attitude that Leo has comes from you, Ollie. I also know that there's a lot of things that you're teaching them, and it's fascinating. So quickly, I know there's a philosophy that you have about how to spend your money. So tell me, Leo, what have you learned from your dad about money?
Well, I learned how to save. I learned how to keep a budget, and I also learned how to tithe and give away 10% of my money. At first, I thought that tithing was a waste of money. But as I matured and time went on, I then realized that tithing is a good thing, because it can help not just me, but it can help other people.
I love it. And so what do you do with the rest, with the 90% that's left?
Oh yes, the other 20% I save, and then the other 70% I can choose to
spend it how you want.
Spend it how I want.
All right.
Although mostly I do save it, even though I don't need to.
That's excellent. So I know you and your brothers were telling me that you recently did something special for your grandma with some of the money that you had left over.
We don't like to call her grandmother, but we say we know that she doesn't like being called grandmother, but
Referring to my mom.
Oh, your mom. Okay.
So what we did for her is we, with our money, we went to Target, and because we had enough money, we bought her a card, like one of those,
like a gift card,
like a Hallmark, and then we bought her an American Express $100 gift card, so she could use it for whatever she wanted.
That's great.
And you can imagine how surprised I was, because I was watching all this happen, like, oh my gosh, wow.
And
then of course we surprised Dad.
Yeah, it's that attitude of giving. I mean, you've given them so much, and look, they're starting to give back, back to their community, back to you, your family, and it's really unmeasurable. There's no way to really measure how much you guys are both benefiting, helping one another, loving one another. So thank you both for joining us so far. We're going to continue during our last segment. I know the boys have some very important lessons to share with us about what they're learning, about what they're doing in the community, and how they're helping. And I think there's a lot for us to learn from them. So we'll be right back for the last part of this great show. And we're back here on Generación Latina. The last of the triplets that you still had yet to meet is here joining us. So Nick, thank you so much for coming.
Great to have you.
Thanks. And you know what? One of the things that is just outstanding about you all is how involved you are in the community. So I know you've even spoken to over 1,000 people. I mean, just conversations and some of the things that you advocate for, it really is impressive. So tell me a little bit about some of the community service that you all do.
Well, when we were 11 in 6th grade, we did gardening for SOC. We used to be called SOC Enterprises. We talked to state delegates when we were 11.
And what would you say to a state delegate? I mean, somebody that's in politics. Like, what kind of things do you talk to them about?
We talked about getting other teachers for blind students paid in other counties, paid more in other counties.
Because right now, teachers they weren't getting paid very much.
No, they were not getting
or they
paid
were
much.
less, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how did that go?
So that went well. They agreed. They voted for the bill.
Awesome. What else, you guys? I know you're even traveling, right? You're going to California soon?
Yeah, we're going to California on November 22nd.
Okay, and what's taking you to California?
I went to do a speech for the TASH conference. I'm going to be advocating for blind people.
Wow. So, all right. So what is it? I mean, you guys are only 13 years old. Like, what does a 13-year-old have to say? Like, what makes you? What do you say to a lot of people? Let's say, I mean, when you have that opportunity. I mean, even right now, right? You're given. Your guys are just being showered with opportunities. What are some of the most important things that you all think they need to hear? People need to hear. Actually, Leo, you can tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'm a 13-year-old, so some people, they may think, 13-year-olds, they have this rebellious personality, and sometimes maybe they may have sometimes where they may yell or find a way to get what they want, but we're different 13-year-olds. We're different, and because our dad was here, he helped us act like mature people. That's why some people think we're like 17 when we're just 13.
Right. No, that's really, just a testimony of the kind of power that a mentor can have, and like I was saying before, there's a lot of young people out there who have a father at home but may not even have that relationship with them the way that you have had with Ollie, who started out as your mentor, then you guys called him dad, and now I understand he's also adopting you and in that process. But I guess the adoption won't really make a difference for you guys because you already pretty much treat him like a dad, right?
Yes.
And so tell me, like, what's like your typical day like? I mean, are you guys like always going out there giving speeches? And I think, if I'm not mistaken here,
No,
like you've
it's not
spoken to like
always.
not only, elected officials, but to like fraternities, the National Council of Independent Living. I mean, there's so many, people that have heard you guys. So like, is this like your normal day?
No.
No, sometimes, some days we have those kind of things like speeches, but we like to have fun too. So
what do you do for fun?
well, we play video games.
You play video games. How do you play video games?
Now, we're still trying to figure that out. We're thinking it's sound, but we're trying to figure it out. We just press buttons, and then we end up winning somehow.
Really? So what are some of your favorite games?
Well, my favorite game, I like all the games in the Dragon Ball Z series,
Okay.
and
Pretty much all combat games.
Combat games.
yes,
Ooh,
pretty
so-
much all of them, except for
Alright.
the ones that are immature.
If you are playing video games and you like comic games, you're like the typical, 13-year-old boys as well. So, but I respect that you all would also listen to your dad, and the way that you manage your money, and the way that you are serving other people. You're involved in your church. I mean, you guys are kicking butt. I mean, there's a lot of kids that have a lot to learn from you guys.
Now, the reason we do community service is because it's not all about us. It's about other people too. People have been helping us. We should give back to other people.
What is it? I mean, if you feel like, why give back? I mean, like, there's plenty of other people that can also be helping. So why do you do it?
Because people help us, we have to help them. That's how we pretty much go with things. If people help us, we help them because we cannot, because that's a sign of gratitude for people who have done things for us.
Do you Do you always help the people that have helped you, or do you just help anybody?
We help anyone.
We help
Anyone
anyone.
who needs help.
Anyone who needs help.
Once we helped this guy named Mark, a homeless guy. We helped him get food, and then we told him
To do three great things.
three good things that day.
Do you think he did it?
We think he
Probably.
did.
Good. I love it. That kind of like pays it forward, right? Now, let me ask you this. What is like one of the favorite things that you love doing with your dad?
Well, we love everything.
We just like to spend time with him. It doesn't really matter where we are. Just spending time with him is a good thing.
Yeah. We also like to show him our games that we got on our computer, which Dad helps us get.
Yeah. And then at school, how do you deal with school? Like, is it more challenging for you? Like, what kind of things do you love from school?
It depends on what classes we take, because there is some classes like geography, world geography, that some things it just is too much. Sometimes it's too visual.
Okay, and how do you deal with those type of classes and those challenges?
Now, we needed a lot of material with that stuff. There's some people who help us, who braille things out on the braille penner. There's people who work with us when we need help. But school is actually pretty cool.
You know what would be really, really awesome is if you guys had the opportunity to thank some of those people. I mean, Ollie obviously gets a lot of credit for where you are and with the things that I know you will accomplish in the future, but I know there's a lot of people that support you where you live and in school. So do you want to, give them a shout out?
Yeah.
Yes, we'd like to thank Chris Clark, Jay Robinson,
Yeah.
Robert Velasco.
Are these friends or teachers?
Friends.
All right. What about you, Leo?
I would like to thank all the teachers and all the people that help us in school, and just anyone who takes the time to help us.
Anyone in particular? I know you have some people in mind too.
Well, I can't really give the names, but
It's probably a lot of people, I'm sure.
there's a lot of people. Yes.
Absolutely. You guys are doing excellent things. I have one last question, and I want you to think about this. There's a lot of young Latinos out there with fathers, with mothers, with eyes to see, and who are not doing very much with their lives, who may not believe that they can accomplish anything, maybe because of where they live or the friends that surround them that are influencing them in a bad way. What would you say to them?
Well, what I would say to them is, times may be going hard, times may be tough, but the one thing you should do is you should take things step by step. You should worry about the day that you're in now. So like if you have a school assignment to do, you worry about that school assignment, and then you go to the next assignment. That way there's no pressure on you. And if you have any family problems, you go through that first, and then you go through other things that are troubling you, and try not to be influenced by any bad things.
Like cursing, drinking drugs, especially because
Those things are going to hold you back.
people who drink get very addicted.
Well, and they lose control. They lose control of who they are, and you guys, the way that you, comport yourselves, the way that you sit and have come here and just been an example to many. I want to thank you for that. So, boys, or young men, excuse me, you guys have been excellent. Thank you so much for coming. If anybody would like to get in touch with them, whether it's for more inspiration, ideas, anything, please don't hesitate to reach us via generacionlatina.org, and keep watching us again next week.